I'll be glad to see the back of winter. It's freezing out there and it's so foggy you can't see your hand in front of your face. I am, of course, going to explain these phrases and some others as well. Just let me get rid of these winter clothes. That's better. Now let's explain these phrases. I'll be glad to see the back of winter. You can say that you'll be glad to see the back of anything, really. It means that you've had enough of something and you'll be happy to see it go away. So I will be happy when winter ends, when there's no more cold weather and it's spring again. You can say this about people as well, but it is quite rude, so only say it about people you don't like. For example, my old manager was so mean, I was really glad to see the back of him. When I spoke about winter, I also said you can't see your hand in front of your face. We say this when it's either very dark or very foggy. If it's very dark, this could be literal. You hold up your hand, it's so dark you can't actually see it. But it's usually an exaggeration. If we say this when it's foggy, it just means it's very foggy and it's difficult to see very far. When I came in, I said, let me get rid of my winter clothes. To get rid of something means to give it away, throw it away, or just move it away from you. I got rid of my winter clothes, I just put them over there. I didn't throw them away, but it could also mean throwing away. It could mean this is rubbish, I want to get rid of it, I will throw it in the bin. You can also say get rid of an illness. If I have a cough or a cold, I might say something like, oh, I wish I could get rid of this cold. My poor nose. While we're talking about my nose, think of the word nosy or the phrase sticking your nose in. Have you heard either of these? To be nosy means that you want to know lots of information about something which doesn't really concern you. It's not about you, you are not involved, but you just really want to know. Perhaps you want to know lots of information about other people, even if it's private. Maybe you want to know why your neighbour is having so many visitors this week. So you're looking out of the window every time a car arrives at their house. You are being nosy. And sticking your nose in means you are trying to take part in something which doesn't involve you. For example, if your friend and her boyfriend are arguing, don't stick your nose in. This is not your argument. You will not make it better by joining in. Don't stick your nose in. And there's also a phrase which is a little more positive. Can I have a nosy? So I might say this to my friend. Let's say she has decorated her bedroom. So I go to visit her house and she's talking about the new wallpaper or paint in her bedroom, and I say, oh, can I have a nosy? This means I recognise that I am being a bit nosy, but I'm curious and I'd like to have a look. And most friends will say, yes, of course, if you're a close friend. It's not just the nose that we use in idioms and casual sayings. I made a whole video about eyes, which I will link below. And we also have sayings about hands, feet, and ears. I'll tell you some of those right now. Hopefully, you're all ears. If we say, I'm all ears, it means I am listening and I'm paying attention. I want to hear what you're saying. If you work in England, you'll often hear people say, can you give me a hand with this? Obviously, this is not literal. I'm not going to give you my hand. It means, can you help me? For example, I need to move a table, but it's very heavy. Can you give me a hand? Or, my maths homework is so confusing. Could you give me a hand? And here you can say, can you give me a hand? Could you give me a hand? Would you give me a hand? These all mean the same thing. As well as hands, we might use toes in an expression. If I say, I'm trying to keep you on your toes, it means I'm trying to make sure that you're paying attention. If your teacher stops halfway through the lesson and starts to ask you lots of questions, they're keeping you on your toes. They're making sure you are paying attention to the earlier part of the lesson. For example, what does it mean if I say, can I have a nosy at your new kitchen? Can you remember? Rewind the video if you've forgotten. Another example might be the senior manager walks through our office several times a day just to keep us on our toes. That would be just to make sure that we are doing our jobs correctly and paying attention. I'm going to wrap things up here and call it a day. When we say to wrap things up, it doesn't mean to wrap like a gift. It means to finish something. If we're going to wrap up the lesson, we are finishing the lesson. And to call it a day means to say it's over. So we'll call it a day and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.